Hello, folks. George here. I hope you enjoyed the intro. My son told me it's a bit too long, coming in at 60 seconds or 1 minute. What's the difference? Yeah, and I'm wearing a little uh, squad leader t-shirt here. So this video is the year in review. So what I'd like to do today is first and foremost put on my thinking cap, Blue Jays for today, and I'm going all out Blue Jays with my mug. And I love Blue Jays because out here in the porch come spring, I'm pretty sure, and even in the wintertime, you put some peanuts out and you'll have the Blue Jays grabbing the peanuts more quicker than the squirrels. Enjoying some Nescafe. So what I want to do for year in review is first go over some of the peculiar rules in Squad Leader, just a couple. Go over a few scenarios that I enjoyed playing a lot during the year, and give you a little tech tip as well. And I think it will be interesting. So let's start with peculiar rules. So let's expand this board, make it nice and big. Right, so you can see it. Let's start with random selection, guys. And let's pull out some counters so I can show you what I mean. So I got my counter tray out. It's on another screen, so you can't see it. But let's put some American units. And we'll start with a couple of elite squads. There we go. And put them in the stone building here. Now let's give them some support weapons. And just for the fun of it, we'll put an MMG for this fellow here. We'll give the other fellow a bazooka. Bazooka 44. Not that it will matter. I'll give him a nice leader. A 7-0 leader. Single man counter. 7-0. And let's not forget some snipers. And let's put some Axis units there. Here's the Axis sniper right there. A couple of 447 squads, or 467s actually. There you go. Head to head. A couple. Yeah, let's put a couple. And some LMGs, of course. I could simply clone this one and put it over there. Alright. And a single man counter. Oh, let's give an 8-1. Alright. Just to keep things simple, we're not going to name our leaders. And let's say he rolls a morale check here. They roll. Yeah, let's make it a stack so we can make the example nice and wonderful. Alright, so now it's stack versus stack. Two squads, one single man counter, one single man counter. They score a morale check. They do a morale check. And let's just go down the line. 8, and then a normal morale check. Let's see what happens. 7, he passes, and he fails. But let's say we rolled this guy's sniper in the morale check here, and we do a sniper selection. That the 3 was the sniper selection, and let's say for the sake of this example, he didn't break or ELR. So we rolled a sniper. The sniper, we roll a sniper check. Dexterity issues. We roll a sniper check, and the sniper comes here. Boom. We do random selection, top to bottom, and we roll Yahtzees. Now, if you look at dot 9 alone, it tells you that 2 units suffered a sniper check or a sniper roll. And let's say for this sake, the example here was a 1 sniper. I rolled a 5, but let's say it was a 1. Now, under dot 9, 2 units had suffered the casualty roll. But under 14.2, it supersedes dot 9, and it tells you that, okay, the attacker now selects the unit that suffered the first sniper attack. The second unit in your Yahtzee roll, you have to re-roll that sniper check. So it's, I got it, that's pretty good. So it's just a peculiar rule that there is a random selection that is defined under .9, and it's superseded by 14.2. I just find that peculiar. The other thing that I always also found peculiar is, like, for example, if this is bocage, there is mandatory wall advantage, so you're automatically adjacent to the wall whether you like it or not. I find that peculiar because ordinarily, uh, if you had, if you were a real live unit in a bocage hex, you wouldn't automatically poke your head out and get fired upon by the enemy. So it's a peculiar rule that I encountered either uh, in the course of playing in 2022 or maybe 2021 as well. Yeah. So bocage was peculiar, and mandatory wall advantage was peculiar rule number two. And number three was a little bit about overstacking. And guys, I made a video about that. Stu saw my mistake. He called me out on it. He didn't exactly explain why, but overall, the essence of that rule is more or less, and these are, early war tanks, but we're just doing this for the sake of an example. Overall, the essence of the rule is for overstacking of vehicles is that you may miss one vehicle and you might hit the other, but at no time can you get more than uh, more than one vehicle. Let's put a 57L there. I like 57Ls right there. Yeah. So those are my three peculiar rules that I stumbled upon in 2022. Now I want to tell you about scenarios, the scenarios I enjoyed. Now, remarkably enough, in 2022, I have some JPEGs and I have some PDFs. So bear with me here. I'll pull out the PDFs first. I ended up getting a starter kit scenario published and designed. So that was one of my high points in my career as an ASL player. I'm not sure if you can call it a career, but let's say the epitome of my hobby life. So this is pretty cool. I really uh, liked it well enough. I can't say that I actually played the final scenario, but I'm looking forward to playing it with Monty Jasper in the near future once we get into Starter Kit 2 or 3 and relearn the ordnance rules. Yeah, I did playtest it well enough, I suppose, pre-publishing, but I've not gotten tired of it. The other memorable scenario that I played, and I played it using two opponents, three players, is Saucho 79, which was originally published by uh, by Avalon Hill in Cross of Iron, COI as we like to call it. And it was converted or adapted to Advanced Scholar by the venerable uh, Jim Stoller. I think legendary is more the word for it. Because basically speaking, every time I play with a counter called Stoller, Stoller survives. Everybody else might be eliminated in and around him, but he survives and lives another day to attack the enemy and succeed. There was an old story once at a gaming convention. Jim was around and somebody needed snake eyes to on an important shot, and he took the privilege of rolling that shot and got snake eyes with dice. No bots or VASL, real actual dice. So Sawash 79 was a great scenario that I played, and I enjoyed it playing it as the Russians. Did I win? Probably not. And I'm planning in the new year to make a after action report about that. And my opponents were the Germans, and there's two sets of Germans. So the reinforcements was played by Dennis, and Mark played the onboard Germans that were attacking the village. It turned out to be a blast of a scenario. One scenario that I never get tired of, and probably played it wrong on every occasion, okay, was Silence That Gun. And The reason why I'm so familiar with this scenario is somebody tried to do an adaptation to it back into the regular game, played it there. I said, there's something wrong. I have to play it in ASL, and I've haven't gotten tired of it, and I still have yet to win it with using either side. Um, and I'm pretty sure that I've made mistakes in playing it. Now, one particular mistake that I did was uh, is that the Germans here are not defenders, and this is important because in this respect, your opponent should not be able to bore sight any weapons or guns because they're not a defender as per the rulebook and how a defender is designed in the glossary. So let's see if I can get to that real quickly. Essentially, a defender in a particular scenario is, let's see, there is two types of defenders. Defender in caps, all caps, and defender without all caps. And basically, in order to qualify for bore sighting uh, as a defender, your opponent should start off board. Now, for the life of me, oh, A.13 maybe? Let's see, A.13. All these dot rules, guys, reread the dot rules. If you want um, an ASL New Year's resolution, uh, reread the dot rules is an important must. Oh, that ain't it. Says the terms printed in all capital letters. Now, I'm looking for the example where they're not in all capital letters. Hold on a sec. Found it, guys. Scenario attacker slash defender, page 22 of the index. The scenario defender and attacker both exist, and neither does a scenario cannot have one without the other. In scenarios where neither exists, these rules pertaining specifically to their respective roles is not allowed. All right, the scenario defender is the side that sets up wholly or partly on board and does not have to capture terrain on other than its setup boards in order to fulfill its victory conditions while facing an opposing side that enters wholly from off board. This latter side is termed the scenario attacker. So that's why in this particular scenario, you can't bore sight as the German because the Americans start on board. Interesting. So that was a glossary, page 22, scenario attacker slash defender, where both sides are uh, defined. So it's not the dot rule, but read the dot rules in any case. So I have half of the scenario scans as PDF, the other as JPEG. So I'll give you the other interesting scenarios that I enjoyed playing. The name is Semi Biscari Highway. I highly enjoy that. Because it's a small scenario, quick action, 8 turns. It's another scenario that was adapted from COI into an advanced squad leader, and it makes more sense when you play it with the ASL rules. Rehearsal for Crete was an amazing game. I played against Mark Dennehy. I'm not too sure if I played that in 2021 or 2022, early 2022, but it stands out in my brain quite a lot. And I believe Mark played and won as the British, and in part it's because as the Germans you come in, well, in large part because he's a very skillful player, and secondary reason was because with gliders, well, the gliders are not so bad. It's the paratroopers that come in all sorts of directions. So you have 15 paratroop units, and if luck is not on your side, they scatter all over the place, end up dead before they hit the ground. Yeah, that is against the Geneva Conventions. And I've also enjoyed Hasmo 14, the Scythian task, which I played on at least 6 times over in in um, in the course of last year. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure there are other memorable scenarios that I played, but I want to keep the video short and sweet. Now, the other thing I want to show you is a little of a little a little what a little technical skills when using VASL. So here's my VASL board, right? And we all know about Neil Euland's uh, beautiful turn record chart where you can put wind direction, you can put the weather and whatnot. It's pretty interesting. Now, when you're doing scenarios starter files, usually you end up putting the OB on the side of the board. What I like to do, and if you notice in some of my AARs, I have these embellishments. And what the embellishments are is basically the divisional patch of the unit. So let me show you how I do that. So it all starts with a label. And what the trick is, in this label, you end up putting little HTML code. And if you put HTML, go into the label, and I'm a bit fluent in HTML, actually perhaps more than I should be, but if you just start a little HTML file in here, and you write hello world, and you close the bracket HTML like that, and there's your hello world, and you can add different commands. Now what I've done is I went and yeah, by the way, an important note here is that all my graphics and the sound that you heard in the introduction are open source. And don't ask me how I converted an OOG file into MP4, but I've done it. So everything is open source, and this should be open source as well. And what I'm talking about is putting in the divisional patch of the unit. So if you have a German unit here in your OB and you want to put the divisional patch, let me show you how to do it. First and foremost, I have a bookmark called History, and it's a Wikipedia page. And I have one for military marches and one for the insignia of the Wehrmacht. Now for the Allies, the Americans and the British are, here's the page. I'm going to share the bookmark with you, and basically if you scroll down, insignia of the Wehrmacht, what you have here is all these insignias of different units. And for the Allied, the British, American, Canadian, they're pretty easy to find on the Wikipedia, right? For the Russian and the other forces, the Axis minors and Allied minors, they're more or less very difficult to find, especially in open source. So let's see. Let's get our little let's get our little label there. Let's put our symbols here. So how do I get this symbol here? Let's say the 17th Infantry Division into that. So I have a little file in Notepad++ where I have the HTML for pointing at a web picture. So let me show you that real quickly, and perhaps I'll put it in the description at all below. Let me get Notepad++. Bear with me for a second, and here it comes. Here you go. So basically what you got here, and I've made a little collection as I've done SSFs, For example, here is something generic for the 5th Tank Army of the USSR, and I should have something for the Polish forces as well. So basically, what you have is your basic HTML tag. Then you have your image tag, image uh, space src equals the web page address of the picture that you want, and then the width and the height attribute, and then you close with HTML. So what do I call the width and the height attribute? In order to get a good picture, what you need to do is go to more details on Wikipedia, and I'll tell you this picture is 185 by 213 pixels. So you need to keep the same aspect ratio. But basically now what you need to do is I already have some pictures in here. Uh, I already have some tags in here, HTML tags. Right? So I'm going to copy this, put it all the way on the bottom of my file, and paste it. Or just put it in a new thing so we can make things clear. Cancel. Let's make new. There you go. So just paste it in here. Now I have my HTML tag in here. And then right click on this picture and copy image address. Go back to your HTML file, your little HTML file, and just highlight this and do a Control V to paste the new picture in. Make sure it's in quotes. You need to copy the whole thing, put it in quotes like that. I got it in quotes. Now you copy the whole thing, do Control A, Control C, and see where I put Hello World in here? Right click, label, Control V, and say OK. And here is my division patch in good old VASL. And like I said before, when you go here, take note of the fact that you have a page that is 185 width and 213 pixels. So if you want to downsize your picture, right? You want to downsize the picture. You keep everything. You keep the ratio the same, and you do a little bit of cross multiplication. So if you want it 50 by X, you cross multiply, and you just, when you go to your image, you replace the values at the end of your HTML file. So it shouldn't be 125 by 125. If it's 185 and you want to downsize it, let's say to 75, let's see, hold on one second. So let's do the downsizing as well. So it's 213 over 185, and you want to downsize that to 75 by X. So your X will be equal to, let's see, 213 times 75 divided by 185, 86. So let's do that. 75 by 86. I don't think it's proper. Maybe I made an error there. Oh no, it looks pretty neat. And you can shift click on it and move it anywhere you want. Yeah. So that's the little embellishments that you can do. And it's good for morale. It's good for morale. Let's say you're playing the Big Red 1. You have the division patch there, right next to your OB. Improves morale. So that's basically it for today. And I look forward in the new year to bringing you more excellent content. Let's go back to our good old board. And, you know, continuing to play squad leader and probably trying to discover some other new games that are worth playing, either in person or remotely. So with that said, I wish everybody a happy new year, plenty of luck, prosperity, and good health. And in the words of Winston Churchill, he kind of said, never wish anybody health and prosperity. Everybody on the Titanic had health and prosperity, but they had no luck. So luck is important too. And I hope for all of us, we have in 2023 the best of all times in luck, health, and prosperity. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.